Welcome, everybody. Glad you all could come out tonight. Welcome to tonight's decorating seminar called What's Hot and What's Not in 2016, hosted by Chris Eysie. My name is Jody Paris, and while I've been working with Chris for less than a year, it feels like so much longer. In only the best way possible, of course. So I'd been living in Medfield for a few years, and while walking with my two kids one day, I happened upon Chris's store on Park Street. And I got so excited at the thought of a design store in our town, or in my town. So I snapped a picture of his sign, thinking, how am I ever going to remember the name Chris Eysie? So I didn't know how to pronounce E-Y-S-I-E. But anyway, so I took a picture of it. And I thought, well, this would remind me to reach out to him and find out if he needed help in his store, in whatever capacity that might be. So Chris likes to tell people that I stalked him. And it's partially true, I suppose, but anyway, I'm so glad that I did. In a short amount of time, Chris has taught me about the world of window treatments and design in only a way that Chris could possibly do. In fact, I'm constantly learning from him. Chris's passion, energy, and enthusiasm about the newest embroidered fabric, a sparkly sheer, or a new Tebow wallpaper book is so refreshing. With all of that said, I'm excited to introduce my boss, my mentor, and my friend, Chris.
Thank you so much for coming this evening. I'm shocked to see all these people and kind of thrilled. I want to thank Raffaels for offering me the space this evening and to show everybody my most recent work. Has anyone seen this place recently or before the renovation? Everyone's been here? Most people have been here, and if anyone who knows me, it's kind of a funny thing that I got married here 30 years ago. Anyone who doesn't know me, let's just say you live and learn. I want to thank Raffaels, and I'm trying to find people from Raffaels. Here we go, Lynn Bernardi, Tina Parsons, and I can't find Lindsay. I am going to be starting out with a bit about the space and what we did to it. We'll have them available if anyone wanted to book an event in the space. I also want to give a special thanks to Tom Bartuca, Joe Bartuca, and Elio Ricci wow, I'm not doing good. They own Raffaels. Tom did all the construction work in here. And I'll mention other people throughout because we really ripped this place apart. What did we do it in 30 days? We shut this place down, gutted it, started from scratch, and this is what we ended up with. So thanks again for coming. Oh. I was going to hold off on this, but I have a very special client here and my nephew's wife. So I've decided the centerpieces go to the person whose birthday is closest to today. So happy birthday, Melissa, and happy birthday, Lindsay. Alrighty, everyone, let's start the show. So, I don't know if anyone took a walk around. This is actually the bridal suite. There's a before and after. Now, you'll notice I named this seminar, What's Hot and What's Not. I really did it because it was a catchy name. And then I started thinking about it as I was getting into it. I'm like, my biggest fear, anyone who knows me knows I'm not about negativity. I don't want to sit there and say all the bad things. So I thought, oh my God, what if people show up and I say 10 what nots? And someone's sitting there going, that's my entire house, what do I do now? So I'm going to touch on a little bit of what's not. And if you got a little bit, you come to me to change it. And if you got a lot of it, well, same deal. Okay. So anyway, you can see, I'm not even sure when the last time this was redone. We just simplified, updated. What's hard to see in here is an animal print rug. Take a look at it. It's pretty fabulous. I've got them actually around here in various places. Animal prints work like a neutral. It's the same as getting dressed. A lot of people can put together a great outfit and they don't realize putting together your home is the same way. An animal print is a neutral. You can put a stripe, you can put a footprint, you can put a floor, you can put anything with it. this is the room you're in. I don't want to say this because I know I'm going to offend someone. Swags are not in anymore. So, okay, don't raise your hands. Because you know what? They've been out so long, they're probably coming back. Believe it or not, simple, tailored treatments are in. Layered, simple, tailored treatments are in. So, if you'll notice here, where's my pointer? Ooh, jeez. So I'm learning here. I just got this yesterday. See the pointer? I love this. I said, I'm gonna buy a cat just so I could use this around the house. The swag treatment there, it just looks, it dies. It's a little top heavy. And if you'll notice here, what I did is I did layered treatments that completely went to the floor. It's a much more formal look, and I think for a space like this, it works. Believe it or not, simple, tailored panels like that in your home really creates a nice space. This is the entryway. When you walked in, did you see that? One of the main things I want to point out here, well, I got rid of all the tulle. That's out. That's not even a thing. If you notice in the ceiling, a lot of people have these kind of ceilings. If you have any detail in your ceiling, don't paint it out the same as the woodwork. If you go out there, you will see I did it a pale, pale gray to actually bring the woodwork out. Anytime you have a detail like that, you want to bring it out. If you have a good feature, you bring it out. If you have a bad feature, you try to hide it. Look at me pointing out my good and bad features. So, some people might be wondering why there's a TV camera in the back. I want to thank Medfield TV. I'm getting choked up here. I want to thank Medfield TV for coming and filming this. And actually, you are the audience for the introduction of my new television show on Medfield TV. Thank you. It's called Ask That Decorator Guy. The thing is, I believe good design should be available to everybody. Obviously, everyone can't afford a decorator. And I need to pay my mortgage, so I can't go out and decorate for free. So, I came up with this idea. Why don't we create a site? Because I get the basic questions all the time. When you see the first question, there's going to be someone in the audience that goes, oh my God, I texted Chris that question 2 days ago. I get the same questions all the time. There's basic principles to decorating. I've had people text me the colors on their bathroom, Carolyn. Get it all the time, but they're basic questions. So I decided to form a website called thatdecoratorguy.com. People can write in their basic decorating questions. I was a little fearful that I'm going to get one person that's going to ask 1,000 questions, and guess what? I'm going to call you up and say, book an appointment. So anyway, anyone can write in. All the questions will be answered on Medfield Cable Television, but there'll also be a site called thatdecoratorguy.com that's already up, and all the episodes will be uploaded to that site. So everyone can watch every episode, and everyone can enjoy. A fad versus a trend. Does anyone know the difference? One of my clients should know the difference. I tell them all the time. Look at them, no, no, no. A fad is something that's in and out in a couple seasons. You'll notice fads right now, the really hot pinks, bright orange, bright purples, things like that are fads. You want to use them very sparingly because they're going to go out quickly. I'm always telling people when you're decorating a room, buy your largest investment pieces in neutrals. There's a reason for that. You're not going to change those out. Keep your rugs are iffy, and I'll touch on that later because I really think every space should be personal to your taste, and everybody has different tastes. There's two ladies sitting right in the front row here. If you walked into their houses and they're next door neighbors, I tend to go run down the streets. You'd think I'm like haunting people. They have very different tastes. Their houses are completely different. Every house should represent you. Too many people everyone says they want to be original, and then everyone says they want to look like Crate and Barrel. Try to come up with what you actually like yourself. And honestly, if you look in your closet, that's going to tell you your taste. If you look in your closet and you have a lot of bright colors and bold patterns, that's what you like. Your favorite color might be red. If you have all neutrals, that's not something you're going to be comfortable with in your home. Now, a trend is something completely different. If you remember years ago, orange was in, but it was in with beige. We all had those, well, I'm looking around at the age range here, and I'm going, okay, we probably all grew up together. So remember we had that rug, that rust rug that Mom used to rake? Yeah. That was the rust orange of the day. Orange is back, but it's in a brighter tone. It was then paired with browns. Today, as you can tell from looking around, the tones are much more gray. I call them grays because they range anywhere from a beige to a deep gray and variations in between. Gray holds a lot of undertone. If anyone wants to take a walk out into the sunroom, I wasn't planning this, but if they did at the end of this and turned around and looked at the feature wall in there, it's purple. You're going to look at it and you're going to never know it's purple. In fact, I had to not tell the owner it was purple when I picked it. Because if you tell two guys you're going to paint their wall in their banquet hall purple, they're going to tell you no. So I just said it's a rich brown. So, I have someone that texted me this question just the other day. This is probably the most common decorating question I get. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's a don't. The only one that I'm going to give an exception on is number 3. First of all, puddling, that kind of foofy, I want to call it foofiness. I don't know what else to call it. The foofy, frilly, all that stuff, that's gone. When I say simple, tailored, timeless, it's just it's a cleaner. Sometimes I think it's the part of my life that I'm in that I just want to. You're trying to clear out and get rid of all the. Can't say that I'm on television. But it's the same thing with your house. You want to tone it down. So that's out. Now this thing, I get this question all the time. People have radiators and they want to stop it at the radiator. So I'm going to tell you right now. I've been doing this for over 25 years. Your radiator is not hot enough to set your drapes on fire. If it's never happened to me, it's not going to happen to you. The last one. People tend to do this because years ago a lot of people did sill-length curtains. Nowadays, I'm just going to say it's not popular. What it does, it's like wearing floods. Does anyone remember, short pants? Let's call them. It brings your eye right to that point, which happens to be the ugliest point because that's where your wall sockets are. So why, again, I'm always going to say, why are you going to point out your worst feature? I should mention the exception I was talking about. If you have a really cute cake post and you want to do it up, it still works because we actually had those, if you remember back in the day. Okay. Everyone has a feature wall. I know you do. We all do it. This is not a true don't. It's a do it correctly. The thing about decorating is a lot of people say there's no decorating rules anymore. And I do fully agree with that. The one difference that I tend to say is you need to know what the rules are if you want to try to break them. Because some rules are basics. That's not really a rule, they're basics. So if you look at these pictures, I'm going to tell you, if you look in this room, if you walk in this room, there is so much going on. Now generally a fireplace would be a feature. But if you look at the way this room's set up, you know darn well there's a television over here. So that would really be your feature. And then they add a drape with an outline to it. Your eye doesn't know where to look. That room's too busy. Secondly, the feature wall in a bedroom. What is the focal point in a bedroom? Somebody? Bed. Exactly. So to make the feature to be another spot, where are you supposed to look? So I will give you one rule that I always use. One rule that I always go by is your bed should always go on the largest solid wall in your room. Now ideally, look at people thinking, I love it. There are exceptions to it if it's just not going to work placement-wise. Some people don't have that option. Especially in New England, we have a lot of strange homes. But that's when you call me too, and I figure that out. And I actually have a solution to one of them here. Okay, this one's dedicated to my sister. If anyone wants to go down to Falmouth, to my sister's house, you know you're in Falmouth. Tells you you're at the beach. You walk in the next room. You know you can have a beer there. You walk in the next room. You know you're at the beach again. I'm not going to say this is a don't because you all know you have these in your house. I will say, limit them. Everyone likes a nice saying, you know, you believe in God, I do. If you want to put something like that, that's awesome. If you need to write this much, go buy a book. Nobody does that anymore. So, please do. This is the way to do a feature wall. Always make it to be the focal point on the bed. If there's a bed behind it, you'll notice simple, tailored treatments behind it. You could either do, everybody's got a different budget, and I get it. You'll notice my backdrop. There's a reason for it. I'll get to it. Actually, I don't really need to get to it. Shocker, it's wallpaper. And it's back, big time. If so everyone has a different budget. If you can't afford wallpaper, do a contrast wall in a paint color. It looks awesome. Carry that through in accessories, but do the other walls in a much lighter tone. This room actually has wallpaper, but it's a small pattern. It's harder to see. This is actually my bedroom. Ooh, it's actually my bedroom. I'm not going there. Hot new trend. This is actually a cabinet display at my cabinet wholesaler. It's called ProSource in Canton. I do all my rugs, custom rugs. I do kitchens through there. So a lot of people see my shop and think it's just window treatments. I actually have a full design service. You can come to me for a backsplash or anything you might need. I need a deposit on that, by the way. Good point. So I do have representatives from ProSource over in the corner. I can't see everyone who's here, so I'm not going to name them all. They will be available if we have any questions. All the rugs and things like that you see all come from ProSource. I also want a special thank you to Mary Ann King from Bassett Furniture. Could you please stand, because you're a pretty amazing woman. Mary Ann, also a graduate of Norwood High. It's funny because, Jody said, exactly, right? Jody said, I never heard of an Eysie, and I'm like, go through Norwood, you'll hear a bunch of them. I don't know what you're going to hear about them, but you're going to hear it. Mary Ann is actually from Norwood also. We did not meet that way. We met years later, and I can't even count how many rooms we've done together at this point. It's in the hundreds. And she did the bridal suite with me. And if you have any questions, if you look at around at the entryway, those leather chairs, which are to die for, or if you take a look in the bridal suite, the quality of the furniture is just amazing. And also, Bassett and ProSource are responsible for the free giveaways in the back. Did everyone sign up and put their name in? Anyone that's not related to me or works for me? So anyway, I want to go back to the two-tone cabinets, because that is what I was talking about. I needed a glass of water, but Jody was over there drinking her wine. Told you, one glass. This is actually an awesome way to do it. And you don't even need a big kitchen. A lot of people think that you need a large kitchen. So this actually works anywhere. I am going to tell you there's a reason for putting the lighter on the top. Your eye's going to go, it actually expands the space. If you put the dark on top and the light on the bottom, it's actually, anytime you put a darker color on the bottom, it's going to bring your eye down. In fact, this actually brings up something I didn't even put in here. When we were growing up, I'm going to give everyone a little history lesson here. When we were growing up, if you went into people's dining rooms, everyone had the dark color on the bottom and the wainscoting, and that, yeah, well, I'll come out soon. I'm going to tell you why it's a don't that I didn't even include in here. Here's the funny thing about why we did that. It was never a design trend. If you go back to medieval times, tell me what the color of royalty is. Does anyone know? Correct. Purple has more pigment than any other color. To show off how much money you had, you painted your room a deep purple. Pigment was very expensive, so if you could afford to have color in your house, it meant you had money. So when Middle America wanted to show off their money like well, that still hasn't changed to some people, but whatever. When they wanted to show off they became affluent, they would want to put color in their home too. The fact is, the least expensive way to do that, because the smallest space was in the bottom of your dining room. Because it's generally the smaller room, and it's the smallest wall space. But here's the deal. What happens is your eye goes directly down when you walk in, and it makes the room look smaller. I had this debate when I did this room. If you look around, there's a chair rail in this room. I did it exactly like I just said. I did a light gray on the bottom and the darker on the top, and if you'll notice, if you look at the crown molding, I did charcoal at the top. There's a reason for it. When you walk in, you don't even know your eye's doing it. It's all subconscious. Your eye goes completely up, and it makes the room feel larger. Because when I told people I was doing a black rug and gray walls, they went, "Are you crazy?" Actually, the owner here told me he, after our first visit, when I told him what I wanted to do, he said, "I wanted to throw you out. I thought you were nuts." He said, "Then I went online, and I looked at other hotels." He said, "Oh my God, this guy might actually know what he's talking about." Believe it or not, did anyone know this? It was just announced. Pantone's color of the year is rose quartz. And everyone's going, "Ew, that's what we grew up with. Isn't that horrible? That horrible pink." Now, I'm showing it to you in a room that's actually quite recent. It's just historic. So do the majority of us live like this? Absolutely not. That's how I do rose quartz. I wish I could show you this room, but all of these fabrics, actually, Holly, you're here. They're on their way to you. This is one of my regular clients. This is something I also work with Bassett. If you look to the right, those are all the Bassett fabrics, and I use the same principles in every room, and you can always use this in your house. Do your largest piece in a solid neutral, which would be the sofa. Doing 2 chairs in this, throw pillows in these 2 fabrics. If you look at that, that's pretty darn basic. I actually don't have the rug in here because I had returned it to ProSource. This is where I brought in the color. You're going to see another slide of this. The daughter, who's 7 and adorable, loves pink. So I decided to show something in pink, and the mother said, "That's my favorite color too." I said, "Your house needs to represent you," and it should. They love it. I think it's beautiful. This is a very different situation because I'm actually doing draperies on one window in this, in the floral, a Roman shade in this, a cushion, and pillows in this. I'm actually blowing out the back of their house and doing a window seat, adding multiple fabrics. When you add multiple fabrics in the same tones, it actually makes what you're doing look larger because it expands no matter what it is. It could be a bench seat or anything. You'll notice I did short rod panels here. Because of the size of this window and the height, I needed to balance that, and I did the Roman shades underneath. A stripe and a floral always look awesome together. Do a stripe, a floral, and then a geometric. You cannot go wrong. Lilacs and purples. They're back again. Again. I'm looking at you because we graduated together, and I'm like, "Oh my God, hi Lisa, how are you?" And I'm like, if you remember, these are the colors that were around years ago. I mean, back in the 80s, we had those horrible purples, and we all had big hair and lots of Aquanet. I will say this. I think this purple's a little garish, but this is a room out of a magazine. This room in the kitchen that I showed in the rose quartz picture, I'm pretty proud of this, are the only pictures you will see in this presentation that came off the internet, and I did them to prove a point. Every other picture you see is my personal work. So if you don't like it, ask a question about it, and I'll explain why I did it. Here's the way I do purple. This is a client of mine in Westwood. We're now on our 7th room. She's lovely. She couldn't be here tonight. She said, "Chris, I want an entire room of purple, but you need to make it sophisticated." Every single piece in this room is purple. Yes, Melissa, this is the rug I gave you. I can see people talking in the back. This is purple. The rug is purple. The only pop of color I did in this room is that chair, and I did it for a reason. Is Arlene Doyle here? Could you raise your hand? Hi, Arlene. How are you? Do you recognize that chair? That's what I did your ottomans in. Awesome, huh? I love it when my clients show up to support me. I was hoping she would. I grew up not even a mile from that condo complex, and I went in there and I went, "You're the first place I've ever decorated in here. Why don't these people know me?" And they need to know me. So here she is. This is the table, so I get to do the whole condo complex. Awesome. Thank you all for coming. Make sure they win something. I'm kidding. So believe it or not, I've got an embroidered fabric in the back that's a purple. The rug is a purple. It's all different shades of purple. The current purples are grayed down purples. When I say that gray is the color that's in, it's not just as a background color with an undertone. It is any color is going to be a grayed down version. If you put those kind of tones, you look through the Benjamin Moore paint deck, if you go to the grayed down version of anything, you're always safe. In fact, if you want a purple, and my sister Helen used this once, and I ended up copying it in my bedroom, because not my personal bedroom, my guest bedroom, which is really just a big closet for my shoes. It's called Elephant Gray Benjamin Moore. It is the most beautiful purple, and no one will know it's a purple. Gilded metallics. Okay, when I planned this out, I thought I was going to be mic'd. Jody, you here? Because now I'm going to make you be Vanna White, because my hands are full. Gilded metallics. Now, everyone can't afford metallic wallpaper. It is ridiculously expensive. But there's a reason for it, because look at it. It's gorgeous. It can be used as a feature wall in a small powder room. Generally, you don't do it if you have children. Some people do. Amy, there's your wallpaper in your bathroom. Unbelievably beautiful, believe it or not. That's the same paper. I've used it for 3 clients. I'm not a one-trick pony. It's just so awesome. I almost use an F word. By the way, what I really wanted to say about this, aside from being a trend, it expands light. Isn't this stunning? Look at it. Lay it out. Everyone can see it. You can't see it. You'll have to come up and look at it. It's really, this one piece is like $500. Go easy. It's really amazing. They're all hand printed. You only do it in a very small area. A little bit more would look garish, but if you have a small entryway, like a lot of us have really tiny entryways that you can separate out, do something wild there, and everyone walks in and goes, oh my God, I never would have thought to do this. Attention-seeking bedrooms. We would all like a little more attention in the bedroom, but unfortunately, this is the only way I can offer it to you. This is where the wallpaper comes in. Tebow wallpaper is probably it's my biggest seller. I do carry all the brands. But if you look around me, does this make an amazing background? No matter what you look at, it's a little bit of wow factor. Now, if you notice here, this is a terrible blurry picture. Now, I told you, so you got to bear with me. I told you these are not professional pictures. It's all my work. These are rooms that I did. When I did this, this is a very small guest room, and I needed to make a feature wall out of a wall that wasn't the largest. What is wrong with this mic all of a sudden? Out of a wall that actually wasn't the largest wall in the room. It was a very small house, and it really didn't have a large wall anywhere. We needed to fit it in. And there was a window, and that's just an odd place to put a bed. Oh, Marianne, we did this one together too. My God. So what I did, picked a fabulous wallpaper. The rest of this is, oh, I made it bigger, and I didn't even know. The rest of this all came from Bassett. The wallpaper and window treatments are from me. I actually did on the other wall, there are full drapery panels because that is a big window wall. Here, I was like, what the heck do I do to make this a feature? So if you look here, I had the wallpaper hanger, hang the wallpaper, and then I went out there and I hung that the fabric over that window, and I cut that shade to match the pattern. So when that shade is down, it's one solid feature wall. Now, can you do that yourself? No. But guess what? I'm a decorator. Come to me. Outdoor fabrics, bring them inside. I've become friends with so many people that I really consider my clients my friends. This is actually one of my workroom people who's become a very good friend. You've driven by this a million times because she lives in Sharon on 95. You just don't know it because she's on the other side. This is her deck, and it is stunning. It's comfortable, gorgeous cushions. These are fabrics. They're all outdoor fabrics. But the current trend now is to bring them inside. A lot of people have kids, and if you don't have kids, a lot of people here have grandkids. I do know that. I have tons of them over in that corner. This is how we bring them inside. These are all indoor-outdoor fabrics. This is actually a chair I have in my showroom. that I slip cover in outdoor fabrics, and then I'll pull the fabric off and slip cover it in something else. Always a great look. This here and that there, again, I'm at my sister's house in Falmouth. Oh goodness, can I find a sign? I promise you there's one on that wall. It says Blue Moon, I swear to God. Okay. Neutrals, the perfect backdrop. Just like I said, always do your largest pieces in neutrals. You can do a room in neutrals and still get wow factor. I did an entire display of it here. It's, and everyone can come up and look at all this stuff later. At the end of this, I'm going to try to only speak for an hour. I don't even know where I am. We'll have a question and answer period. You can walk around, get a drink, ask any questions of me, Jody, any of the other staff. And we have some drawings in the back. I did mention that. Everyone put their name in, right? You can do an interesting room in just neutrals. If you notice here, oh, darn it. There's my chair again. This is a client in East Greenwich. I love that. This is actually the room next to it. We had 2 rooms we needed to pull together. She lives with her husband and 3 boys, and believe it or not, she has the most masculine taste of all of them. She's like, I don't want pattern, I don't want color, I don't want this. And I'm like, well, what am I here for? This is how we did it, and I think it's awesome. Now, if you look here, I know this gets a little busy. I just wanted to really point out that it's all neutrals. The dining drapes here are done in a graphic neutral. If you don't know what you're doing, I don't mean what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing down the line, because a lot of people buy a house, we all go by budget. So it's like, well, I'm going to do this now, I'll do this later, I'll do that later. I will say this because it's clicking into my head. When you say we're going to get rid of that sofa, so I don't want to decorate around it, you're totally kidding yourself, because I'm going to come back to your house 5 years from now and I guarantee you it's going to be sitting there. So you don't want that to happen. So really consider what your budget is. If you're going to if you really are getting rid of it, fine, get rid of it. If you really think it could take a while, then decorate around it and make what you own nice. This is the perfect way to do it. This is a brand new build. I just didn't need them. They had no idea what their dining room set was going to be. They're a young couple, and they said, we don't know when we're going to be able to afford one. But we want it to look pretty when people come in our house, because it's the first room that people walk into. So this is how I did that. Anything could go in there. I could pop a bright red table in there. It would still look good. If you do a background in neutrals, you can always add color of any sort. Neutrals with a pop of color. This is the quickest, easiest way to get a well-decorated room. Depending on your budget, if you can't afford to have me come in and do it, I'm going to use what I call, well, I can't say it's the F word, but it kind of is. Home goods. Didn't say it. Okay. You can do it. You do everything in neutrals, and you could go to that place that I'm not going to mention again and buy a couple pillows. It's the easiest way to add color. If you'll notice here, this is, again, the same lady, the purple room that I showed you earlier. This is her other room. Her favorite colors, believe it or not, are the same as mine, which are purple and orange. Do I ever wear them? No. Oh, yeah, I do wear purple all the time. Orange is kind of a tough one to pull off. Anyway, oh, good, now I'm going to look around. Who's got orange on? If you notice here, everything, and here we go with the animal prints again, I tend to do them because they're neutrals. If you don't, believe it or not, that is an animal print. Animal print, my camera away. Animal prints don't always read as animal prints. There is nothing real animal about that. It's just a neutral. You'll notice we have that fun orange wallpaper over here in the corner. It's an animal print. I thought I had a ton of them. What happened? Oh my goodness, yeah, over there too. Yeah, I got a whole bolt of it. Come to my store, I got a big cushion in it. It's all over the place. It goes with everything. And, Marianne, did you notice? The next thing I want to talk about, aside from neutrals with a pop of color, if you notice in this bedroom, I'm going to tell you the quickest way to get a designer bed. And actually, I know there are some realtors in the room. I'm trying to find them because I can't. There we go. There we go. If you have someone that needs to stage a house for sale, paint the rooms, don't go beige. Go Edgecombe Gray, Revere Pewter. They're every decorator's favorite color. Not because we feel like they're just easy to work with, because they go with everything. I think I picked that for you, Michelle, for one of the houses you were doing. Edgecombe gray or Revere pewter. Probably won't find a house that I do that won't have it somewhere, because it's such, did I do that in your house, Norma? Oh my goodness. Are there any new customers here? I'm kidding. I'm so happy to have the support, I can't even tell you. So, if you look at the bedroom to the left, thank you, to the left, right here. The quickest, easiest way to get wow factor for a bedroom, and it's great for staging a house. When you're staging to sell, you want to get rid of every bit of personal. People don't care what your kids look like. You love them, they don't. Pare it down, keep it in neutrals. And if you notice, I popped 2 pillows and a bolster on that bed, just like in my bedroom, because here's the deal. I'm lazy. I get out of bed. I am a nutcase control freak, and I like my house to be neat. And I'm a decorator, so I'm always afraid, not that anyone's ever coming into my bedroom, but I still want it to look good. So the easiest way to do it, 2 pillows and a lumbar or a bolster in the middle. Do you see how I did these in an animal print, which is an absolute neutral? If you do something like this with neutral bedding, you could do this on white, you can do it on off-white, you could do it on a light blue. This goes with anything. Does everyone think that's beautiful? Make that our first giveaway. 2 pillows, 3 pillows actually, so 2 pillows. This probably is a, oh my goodness, what are we doing? Did you grab the box? Absolutely, everyone can ask as many questions as you like. If they get too detailed, I'll wait till the end, but go ahead.
How do you feel about if you have an oversized couch that has like the big pillows in the back and then a lumbar pillow like in the middle, and if you had 2 pillows anchored on the end?
All day, I'm sorry, the question is, if you have a very long sofa, would you like, you have to forget, I'm on television, they can't hear you. If you have a long sofa, do you want to put something to fill the middle is basically the question. And yes, you absolutely do. You want to do your larger pillows on the end. Depending on the size of a sofa, if it's over 100 inches, you want to add a couple pillows in, and you want to do a lumbar or a bolster in the middle. A lumbar is comfortable. You can actually lean on this. Bolsters are really just for fun. They just look cute. I throw mine off the bed and then just put it back in the morning. Or I hug it if I'm lonely. Same deal. It stays on the bed. So let's give this away. Yeah, I guess I'll pick it. Oh, darn, I don't have my glasses. Kathy Hand. Is that not gorgeous? So I'm telling you, go out and buy a white coverlet, throw it over your bed, put those on the bed, and you got a perfectly decorated room. Back to neutrals with neutrals not boring. I guess we came up with that. We couldn't come up with something more interesting than that. Add pizzazz with texture and pattern. If you notice to the, again, I'm backwards here. If you notice to your right, that is all neutrals. It is very easy to add in color. I mentioned it with that. I'm being repetitive, but there's a reason. It's not brain surgery what I do. Obviously. All those neutrals, that can be popped. If you notice, all I did was change it. This is actually going into the second room. This client happened to want all neutrals in the living area. Remember, Marianne? Yeah, I never got a second date out of that one, but I decorated the whole house. We went into the dining room and decided to do a pop of orange on the floor and in 2 chairs. You can add it. Oh, I got the best idea. If you want to do something wild in your dining room, pop 2 chairs on the end, take out your regular chairs, do 2 upholstered chairs, and I guarantee you, in any color you like it, it's going to look good. Formal dining rooms are back in. Yes, they are. And a lot of people don't realize, we see the big open concepts now, but they're actually adding dining rooms in. They're a lot smaller than they used to be. A lot of people, they're not doing eating kitchens as much anymore. They're not the way we grew up. So they're adding dining rooms. You have one. Flows right into the living room, same thing. Believe it or not, if you look at the size of this dining room, it's not a big dining room. The average house, I would say, most people live in is, I don't want to say averages, it's really not good. 16 to 2,200 square feet would be the average house. This seems like a fairly normal dining room size. This house is 10,000 square feet. And they added on 3,000 because it wasn't big enough. They're lovely people, they really are. But if you notice here, I did the same, you know, like I say, it's not brain surgery. I did the same thing over, and I added grass cloth in a deep color, gorgeous panels. Those are actually functioning panels because, unfortunately, the driveway runs right there, and if they're entertaining, they want to be able to close them. But believe it or not, this was the biggest one. I've tried to tell people, someone mentioned this earlier, I'm not a marriage counselor. This was a tough one. Husbands seem to have very strong opinions lately. Maybe because, you know, people shop together now. This husband had incredibly traditional taste. His wife had incredibly contemporary taste. They fought and fought and fought, and I was like, what do I do here? And they said, that's why we hired you. You need to come up with a solution. And this was my solution. Incredibly traditional with 2 leather chairs on the end. It worked. It made them happy. That's all I care about. Now, one big fallacy. Dark colors do not make a room look smaller. Look at that room when it was empty. It looks half the size. You will notice when you're doing a build, or even you'll go to buy a house, the reason realtors stage houses, if you have a house that's not selling, get it staged. It's worth every penny. People cannot envision what a blank room is going to look like. Throw something in it. This is the same exact room. If I took that room and told you I was going to put black grass cloth paper and black drapes on it, you would tell me I was crazy, because who's going to want that? Look at how gorgeous that room looks, and it does not look any smaller. Here we go to the wallpaper again. Tiny bath, big wow factor. Now, granted, everyone doesn't like animals. I do love this paper. I think it's stunning. There's my orange again. The one, and I remember telling you this when I got you on that, the one room you're never going to get sick of is your powder room. You walk into your house, that's the bathroom your guests use. You don't go in, you're upstairs in your bathroom or wherever, depending on how large your house is. It's the one room. That's why I tell people, if you're going to do wallpaper, do it in a dining room or a powder room, because they're the rooms you're not in all the time. So wouldn't it be nice, you walk by these rooms and you get a little bit of wow factor. You go, oh, isn't that pretty, and I like that. You're not sick of it, because if you had to sit in this room every day, which, oh, it's a bathroom, so I don't even want to go there. Tailored treatments are in. I did mention this earlier. This is my store. If you notice, there is nothing fussy, there is nothing gathered, there's nothing foofy, as I like to say. I don't know that that's really a word. Everything is tailored. I added a little pizzazz with the rug. That rug's in my living room now. I liked it so much. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, the sofa's in yours. Yeah, we kind of get sick of things really easy in this business. Oh, and something I want to touch back on. That sofa is a Sunbrella sofa. Because I was opening a retail store, God knows what people are going to bring in. Their children. Actually, I have to say, Amy, your children are the most best behaved children I've ever met in my life. Except for mine. Well, All right, let's not go there. I should have opened my mouth. I just remember this because they came into my store and I offered them a piece of candy and they said, we'll have one each, please. I went, are you kidding? I forgot where I was. So anyway, this is basically simple tailored treatments. If you notice, it's all done in neutrals. The reason I did my store in neutrals was because if you saw color like this coming in, you wouldn't know where to go. I did this for a little bit of wow factor. I'm standing here because it kind of pops the outfit. I mean, come on, it's me. But I do it that way so you can visualize. I can actually take a valance like that down, bring it to your house, and show you what it's going to look like in the space. Ta-da, Arlene. We couldn't get good pictures. There was so much sunlight in your house, I did everything I could. This is a treatment. All right, so these people, would you consider, is that a golf course? Yeah. It is a golf course, okay. They live on a golf course. I'm not going to say where you live because everyone drives by there all the time. Half these people are from Norway. They live on a golf course. The amount of sun that comes in here is incredible. And I call them, you know, I always ask people, is this a naked room? Well, I'm sorry, this is their living room, but it's right off their kitchen. You don't want to come out in the morning and make a pot of coffee. You need your privacy. But the fact is, if you have a triple slider like that, that's a lot of heavy fabric to do. So if we did the old-fashioned drapes, that's going to be really, really heavy. This was a tough solution because when you need a functioning drape this size, and we priced this out, I remember we had issues, I was looking for a double drapery rod. Big long drapery rod so I could do a functioning shear and drapery panels. My cost on something like that, so I'm not going to tell you what it would cost a customer, was $2,000 or somewhere in the ballpark. It was insane. So I said, what are we going to do? So I worked with Holly, my workroom manager, and I said, we need to come up with something creative, functional, and reasonably priced. Well, you might not think it was, but it was. So these are actually board-mounted panels. These are panels just, the one, well, actually, those are also, aren't they? Mm-hmm. The ones over there. So it's very similar to a look you have on a rod here. But you can mount them on a board. So we upholster them to a board. So those are board-mounted panels upholstered to the board, and they lie, and they just hide. What it does, the reason I did it, if you look in this picture, the shear is closed, so it gives the client privacy. And then when it's fully open, those shears hide completely behind there, so you don't even know they're there. And it's all done on a very, very small functional rod at the top. Probably not something you could do on your own, so, but that's why I put it in there, people. This is actually something I love to do with the board-mounted panels. They're simple, they're tailored, it's not fussy at all. I did it again here, you can see that I do the buttons at the top, those are optional sometimes. If we're doing this and it's really fun, we'll do buttons that you purchase at a store in a bright color or something. It really depends on the room. This looks awesome in a little girl's room to do really simple white with big hot pink buttons. Does anybody have a little, Lucy's room maybe? Next time? Okay. We're getting there, and I'm losing my mic. They're on back order. I told you. I checked on them today. Same here. I did the same thing here. This is something I want to talk about. This is a room a house I just didn't need them. I did the board-mounted panels, but if you notice in this picture, I did intend this way. One of these pictures is open, but in the previous picture where I did that board-mounted panel, we needed privacy, so I did a full-length shear because we were going for a more traditional modern look. This client happens to have extremely modern taste, so we needed to do something that fit that style. This is when we get into the type of undertreatments. Some things are form and function, some things just are function. This is called a silhouette. That is what is in the right side of that. Now I'm going to mention something else, but honestly at my age, I'm not getting this, so I'm going to have to hire a 20-year-old to start selling this stuff. But, are you kidding me? My worst fear, oh no, here we go. Come on, people. Jody, this can't be happening. Oh, thank you, God. Ta-da. This entire house, if anyone is married to an engineer or isn't an engineer, oh, yeah. I'll just hand them the book and go, I do the pretty here. I don't know the technical. So yes, we do a lot of motorized treatments. We do have a lot of multi-working couples. A lot of people travel a lot for their jobs. If you want your window treatments to tilt to, it's not even when you're home. You can program these to tilt at a certain time during the day so it looks like you're home. They go down at night, they come up in the middle of the day. Believe it or not, I mean, if we talked 5 years ago, it was so ridiculously expensive I wouldn't even talk about it. It's sort of like, you know, I want to say a VCR. Do people? I'm dating myself. As the product comes out, it gets much less expensive. So now, compared to a standard blind, you're talking about 30% more. It's not that much more money. Okay, vignette, ultimate function. Could you please come out here and show the vignette? Because I just don't have the hands for it. I have these in my, oh, I have these in your den. Are they about the most awesome window treatment ever? This, a lot of people, well, I don't say a lot of people. You don't, depending on what your budget is, these are a great way because they can be used, all you need to do is put something like this in your window and you can be, it can be left alone. In my bedroom, I happen to have them as an under treatment with panels over. You can dress up later. But the great thing about this is a Hunter Douglas product, so it has a lifetime warranty, and it looks like a custom Roman shade. Here you'll notice the top-down, bottom-up option, because what's happening now, because we're running out of space in New England, is people are knocking down these tiny little split levels and building McMansions on top of each other. You realtors are loving that. But the problem is, privacy issues. I mean, I went into a client's bathroom. I'm staring into the next person's bathtub. I'm like, well, I hope you're friendly. So this is the solution they come up with, and it's awesome. Norma, we did these in your house. A perfect example. And you love them. You call me afterwards and say, oh my God, love that. I mean, how many people get to have a job where you go to work and you get calls every day telling you how awesome you are? The best job in the world. So that's the top-down, bottom-up option. The majority of the time, and I'm guessing this is normally I actually know this is normally the case. If a customer needs top-down, bottom-up, oh, darn it. Come on, Chris, really? It generally, this clicker idea wasn't good, Kathy. I'm not good enough. Oh, that's because I'm a righty. Oh, I'll switch. Look at that. Oh my God, I'm almost done, and it took me that long to get it. Shocker. So, oh my goodness, I guess I'm wrong. So the top-down, bottom-up option is a perfect privacy issue solver. And if you look at this treatment, oh, sorry. Thank you. I just can't do it. It's ridiculous. I need to be mic'd in 2 places now. It is I can't even talk enough about this treatment. It's a little bit on the pricey side, but it's really, I mean, your room is done. You put that in your window, it'll function forever. It's great with kids because, oh, and that's the other thing I'm going to talk about. I did mention motorization. I am going to mention this. Okay, Vanny, you can stop. She's like, I don't want to get up, and now she's like, I don't want to leave the stage. Perfect example here. I will say this. I threw a wood blind down here because everybody has them. I will say this. If you want, a lot of people like the look of plantation shutters. We get into budget issues with that. Plantation shutters are the most expensive window treatment you can have in your home. The advantage of them. Did that really just happen? Okay, well, don't live in a perfect world. The advantage of a plantation shutter is it's the only window treatment that actually adds value to your home because it's considered custom millwork. So it is actually something you're going to get back in resale, or something else. A lot of people say, oh, well, I have Hunter Douglas blinds in my house. Believe it or not, that does matter. People care about that because the warranty, it's not supposed to carry over, but I'll let you in on a secret. You can bring it into my store. We send it in. They don't know. They do it all the time. They actually tell us to do that. The one thing I wanted to mention about this. This is a standard honeycomb. Everyone knows. Look, I could do it both with one hand and find these solutions. We'll have to do this over and over again. This is a honeycomb shade. Everyone knows what they are. But I will say this. 5 years from now, not even 5, I'm going to say 2 years from now, if you have cords dangling, it's just not going to happen anymore. Everything now is cordless. It's a cleaner look. Probably, I don't know what the expense is. I will tell you this. If you're buying custom blinds anyway, it's totally worth it to go that way, because if you ever did decide to resell, even just a couple years from now, I think I had this conversation with you too. I was like, there's no reason to have cords because anyone who's going to walk into your house 3 years from now and go, oh my God, how old are these blinds? Okay, this is a room I did. You're going to have to be Vanna again. This is a room I just did in Wellesley. And oddly enough, when I was in this room, when this was empty, and this was a new build I just did, the windows behind that TV are the windows that, oddly enough, gave the glare to the television. How that happened, I have no idea. The windows to the right, the way the sun goes during the day is this way, not that way. So when, and this is their family room. So they were like, we can't watch TV. So if you notice here, it's hard to notice in this picture, but I did do a close-up. This is the actual blind. These are organic, I call them woven woods, are their actual name of them. Organic treatments are in. When I say that, people tend to think of Rhoda Morgenstern or Mary Tyler Moore. If you don't know who Rhoda Morgenstern is, don't ask me. I do know who she is. The great thing about this is those two shades on either side of the television are blackout shades, and the other ones are not. You can see the different opacities. Go ahead, Leanne. This is, yeah, we call them this now. It's just, you know, it's like we used to call them slacks. Now they're pants. Yeah, exact same thing. And this is the exact. Most blinds will come this way now. Believe it or not, this actually. Oh, am I going to be able to do this? Come on, baby. Oh no, really? Yeah. Come on, you can do it. And that's all right. Are you kidding me? The problem is when you travel with these are not the samples from my store. Oh my God. Ta-da! And there we go. They have a lifetime warranty, people. This does come out with a blackout shade that you could drop down behind just like this. You could just pull this one. I'll show you this. See, this is the blackout liner you can have behind. A lot of people want these for bedrooms too. It doesn't just have to be that. Can you hold it tight enough? Oh, it ain't happening, honey. Oh my God. Ta-da! They're beautiful. A lot of people feel that they're too casual, which is why I showed this room. If I show that to people, where are you thinking of putting them, Lindsay? Oh my God, yeah, that would look awesome behind your sofa. That one. Take it home. There you go. I've already got the measurements. This is awesome. Believe it or not, you're going to be shocked. A blow dryer. Keep the dust off them, that's all you can do. And if bugs get into the honeycomb part or anything here, that's really what you do. You pull it out and blow dry it. It's just going to blow it right out. Now, if you don't have little kids anymore, so if you had little kids and, grape juice and stuff, sorry. Kids and pets, sorry. That's not warranted. It was your choice. And here, this is just another picture of the same. Okay, this is also that 10,000 square foot house I did in Hingham. This actually looks out on Hingham Harbor, and the clients wanted a sitting area. Are they going to use it? Probably not ever, but it looks pretty. We all do these things, when you have a big bedroom. I had a friend who bought a big house recently. We should put a little sitting area over there, and it's lovely, and they always look pretty, and I'll be happy to do them for all of you. You'll never really sit there. You're going to throw your clothes there. But they are pretty, and you got to fill the room somehow. With all these little McMansions, it looks nice. But the real reason I did this, because that's actually quite a small bedroom for such a large house, their functional rooms in this home were very small, and their main open floor plans were very large. So that way it was an entertainment house. And a lot of people build, that's how a lot of the houses are built now. If you will notice now, I hate to keep going to the same people here, but your houses are being multiplied in the Norfolk, Rentham area. And you walk in and they give you a little room to the right or to the left. Some people use it as an office. Some people use it as a playroom. I have some people that use it as a dining room. It's almost, what are they calling it? Like an extra room, they're giving it to you. It's a multi-purpose. You can use it any way you want. So it depends on how you live. Just like I say, it's your house. Make it, have it represent you. But the real reason I did this was also to show two different treatments in one room. Function and style need to blend together, but you don't need to do the same window treatment in one room. If you'll notice, which you really can't because we don't have it all open, you should coordinate, but in here I have drapes with Roman shades under. On a French door, I just do the drapes alone. And if you walk into the hallway on the other side, there are just the Roman shades under those cornices. So here you have a triple layered treatment, single treatment, and in the hallway there's a double, but it all coordinates. Okay, this is one of my specialties. I always think about budget. These are actually sheer. Does everyone know what a sheer is? Okay, it's probably going to be the least expensive fabrics you can find. Fabrics can range, I'm not mentioning prices tonight, but fabric can range greatly. Oh, I thought there was a question. My solution to this, and it kind of came out of the blue for me once, and now it's like my thing. These are actually sheers with just a drapery lining behind it. So that is the least expensive fabric I could find, and then I just lined it in a regular $7 a yard drapery fabric and come up with a treatment like that. Most people know that custom window treatments generally run, do I scare people here, $500 or more a window for a custom design treatment. This can run $3, so you can save yourself money. Well, I say that, this one ran more because she picked a crazy expensive embroidered sheer, but I can do it on the cheek too. Go custom with rugs. Wow, I really do need to speed up here. Okay, people, I'm going to try to go quick. I hope you're getting a little bit of information out of this and I'm not just boring you. I say go custom with rugs. It's the best. It's a really good investment. There's tons of them up here, and it's a great, if you keep them in a bold pattern, but in a geometric, it looks gorgeous. I'm doing this in your hallway. But phase 3? Come on, okay. If you see here, this is actually that house that I showed you earlier that I didn't need them with the board-mounted panels. This customer, and a lot of people say this, Chris, I just spent all this money on hardwood floors, and you're going to cover them up with a rug? So I came up with this solution because she just spent a ton of money on that inlay. I said, let's play it up. So I actually do, and I do this a lot, I just buy the rug in one large piece and have my crew go out and custom cut. I sat there and measured around to make sure we played up that inlay. And it's stunning, and I think I have a picture of the room done. It's beautiful. It really brings that out. So like I say, if you have a good feature, bring it out. If you have a bad feature, you want to cover it up, which brings me back to those feature walls. You don't want to just do a random wall, a feature wall. Add warmth with rugs, same thing. Very few people are leaving their stairs bare anymore. I know it's the last thing you get to. You don't think of it. You're like, we really don't need it. But I'm telling you, when you do it, you get quick wow factor. Do it in something like this. And I will tell you, I don't want to give you this don't because I know a lot of people have it. The Oriental style runners are going to, I'm not going to say it's a don't. Look at Lisa. She's like, oh my God, my house is horrible. Don't say that. Stop. I'll come out, I swear. I've known you my whole life. The Oriental style is very limiting. And that's what it is, because it's giving you pattern and color and everything right there. And you have to pull your whole house off of it. And one of the biggest problems we have now with these open floor plans, right, Marianne? Ridiculous. You do a 4,000 square foot house, it's like doing a 4,000 square foot room, because every room looks the same. Okay, I'm going to speed it up here. I just got some cute pictures. I just want to tell you, it always starts with a concept. When I get the call that says, I need a color for this, or I'm buying this sofa, does this go in my house? You can't, designers don't think that way. I do not think in piece, I think in concept. Anyone who knows me knows I think in pictures. So I could meet you now and do your house and think it's lovely. I can meet you at the 10 years from now, and I will not remember your name, but I will tell you exactly what I did in your house. Happens all the time. So we actually think in pictures. So when you give me a concept, I will not ask you what colors, well, I will ask you what colors you like, but I'll ask you what feeling you want it to have. I really want to use this darn thing and I can't figure it out. This is my concept. She liked stripes, she wanted colors, she wanted wild. Again, I did an animal print, a stripe and a stripe. This is the Roman shade, that's the drape. I have a stripe going one way, a stripe going the other way, and the wild animal print on the bottom. And believe it or not, when you put it all together, it's not so wild. It's really pretty. Okay, this is another house. God, I've done a lot in Wellesley. Another house I just did in Wellesley. You want to not limit your wow factor, pick your wow factor. Everything should have some wow factor. The way this house was built is you walk in, this is exactly like yours. Lindsay, stop talking. Okay. This is exactly like your house. You walk in, big entryway, tiny little room, and then you're into something else. So we needed to blend that. So what room, they decided to use that as a sitting room that, to be quite honest, they're never going to go in, but it looks cute. So we decided to do that pretty subtle because we needed the dining room to be the wow factor. Like I said, you're not in the dining room every day, let that be the wow factor. Everything I did off here came off that wallpaper. We wanted wow factor in there because that's where you walk in, so I did the back of the chairs with a stripe. We did the tufted wing chairs on each end. Remember I said that before, get rid of your chairs and stick some wing chairs, it looks amazing. And then I toned it down in the next room. This was actually done in stages, so if you notice there, the window treatment isn't in, and here it is. But because I went so wild there, I went solid. I did a solid linen and just trimmed it out and in detail. It's all in the details. This job just got installed 3 days ago, and I'm so proud of it. This has been a client of mine for years. I've done both of their homes. That's your, oh, the before is your house? Okay, we'll talk. This is a client in West Roxbury. The one thing I want to point out here, if you look at this room, realtors take notice. They're on a 5-year plan, like a lot of people we know. They're planning to retire. This is their main house. I'm doing their other house down the Cape. I needed to plan a room that not only they could live in now, but the pieces could go into their Cape house 2 to 3 years from now. Now, I'm already doing the Cape house, so I'm planning both ones, so that works out well for me. Really well for me. But if you notice here, the chair, which I'll show you in a minute, the chair is actually the same chair. The sofa, the side tables, the lamp, everything is exactly the same. And the oriental rug. So and we've all gotten that. I have one sitting in my living room rolled up. I just said to my sister, what do I do with it? Do you want it? Heels back. I don't know, you know, anyone could have, well, in the family, you give it, anyone could take it. I'll have people running up to me. Can I have that teal oriental rug? But anyway, we decided to avoid the pink because it's a funny pink. It's that salmony dated pink. So I said, let's forget the pink altogether. And believe it or not, we just did a grass cloth wallpaper. This is not an expensive paper. It's very reasonable. And we updated it with this. That's what it is, and this turned into that. I did custom rounded rods because this is a Victorian. Yes, that gets pricey. There's ways to get around that. But there's more I need to get to and I want to finish up. This is their dining room that's off of that. This is a common New England problem. If you notice in the before picture, I have the pipes, I have a radiator. That's just not a pretty view. I needed to, this was more about problem solving than decorating. We knew we wanted something simple when they knew they wanted white. So I had to come up with something. I actually did a custom cornice that I hinged. So this is actually simple panels, designer roller shades underneath. That's a custom hinged cornice. It's all hinged together. I had it made in 3 pieces and installed like that to cover up all the ugly stuff, basically. But this room is actually off that room I just showed you. This is that woman in Westwood again. I wanted you to show the before and after. The reason I did that funky, funky fabric, that is every color. She's a gardener. I looked out in the garden and I said, let's bring that inside. I love that room. Look familiar, anyone? My sister's got her head in a book and she's been checking her text. This is her living room. If you notice here, this was I don't get to do gut renovations very often. I generally get new builds. People are just starting to, a lot of people are either getting ready to sell or they're building new. But this is my favorite part, is to do a gut renovation because we switched this out completely. This was actually a small suite added on to her house she decided to move into. And we added a fireplace, we added windows, and that's the after, and it's quite pretty. It's not about the size of something, it really is about how you make it function. So small places can feel very big. This is the kitchen before and after, same thing. There is one thing in this kitchen, and I have to ask, she hates when I ask her a question. The name of the granite? Granite. Virginia Mist. This is a great tip for anybody. Soapstone is crazy expensive, and it's not durable at all, but it's an amazing look, and it's great for New England homes. This is Virginia Mist granite, and we do it in a honed finish. Looks exactly like soapstone. but it's way more functional. Again, bedroom I did. This is just to point out I did it in the same way. We've got the €3 shims because it's a king size. You do 2 large pillows and a pillow if it's a queen. And I don't want to seem like a one-trick pony, but I guess I do a lot of fireplaces with windows. But they're functional. Here's your pretty place to sit. That's where I put all my shoes. Okay, this was actually my parents' living room chair that I converted into that. And this client, actually, if you look at that picture up in the top, that chair was in her basement for 22 years untouched. And the thing is, a lot of people think upholstery is less expensive than buying new. It's actually not. It's more expensive because you're picking custom fabric. It's not just recovering the furniture. We're stripping it down. We're rebuilding that piece to make it a brand new piece. Oh my God, how much have we done together? This is insane. I really should have bought you a birthday present yesterday. I apologize. But if you notice, we did that in a white neutral, and now she's going to pass that off to her daughter and hopefully to her granddaughter. This is that chair, same room. I said, we need to do wow factor somewhere, and we can't, because they're planning on reselling, we had to keep it all pretty neutral. So if you notice here, this is why custom gets a little pricey. I laid this out. Do you see that pattern match on there? I go over there and I lay the fabric out and decide what I want to show, because fabric's expensive. I want to show off the best part. Slip cover, we still do them. I love them. I would love to live in a world, but I can't afford to, even me, that I have my beautiful rugs, my beautiful furniture all winter, and in the summertime I'd like to pull them all up and do sisal rugs and slip cover all my furniture, just like Martha does, but you know, she ended up in jail, so whatever. Latest and greatest, these are the brand new wallpapers from Tebow. Where's the one this green, yeah, I know, really. Well, I just want to show because these are actually stripes. If you look here, that is a stripe. That is amazing. It's a striped metallics, they're beautiful. It's literally the ultimate wallpaper. You're not going to do it everywhere, but you can, a little bit here and there. One wall of wallpaper is not going to kill you. And one thing I want to mention, because we're all bought houses, our first houses, and had to strip every room of wallpaper, and it was hell. Am I allowed to say that? Wallpaper is not made that way anymore. These are all scrubbable and strippable, and it comes off much easier. Am I lying a little? Just a bit. It does come off. Look at you, like, yes, he's totally lying. He's trying to sell wallpaper. It comes off a lot easier than it did back then. That's what I'll say. How's that? Your home, have fun. That rose quartz room that I was doing, this is actually the same house. This is the room I did for the little girl. The mother said, let her pick what she wants. I want it to be about the kids, but make it sophisticated. That is fun. It's in their family room. Everything's gray. All we did is one slider. They actually needed privacy there. So it's fun. It looks awesome in the room. And there you go. If you could have heard the moans and groans I got for putting that picture in, it was ridiculous. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. Have a great time. Hi there. My name's Christopher Eysie. Most people can't pronounce my last name, so they just call me That Decorator Guy. And you can too. I hope you'll tune in to my new show. It's actually called Ask That Decorator Guy. Do you need help with a design dilemma? Let me know. I'm here to answer your questions, offer a little advice, and most of all, have some fun. So now, let's decorate.
The preceding was a production of Medfield TV, Community Shows.